Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Tonight, I want to talk about something I really didn't want to put out there because I go to Baylor Scott and White and I have a cardiologist there. I have COPD. I have a good doctor there. I have a doctor there that works. I have nerve problems in my legs. And these are excellent doctors. They work miracles when I think I'm about on death's bed. They bring me right back. They seem to do it every time. What I want to talk about is Baylor Scott and White security. Man, if you see the security coming, go the other way. We were at Scott and White, me, a friend of mine, and his wife. His wife's going into I guess surgery or labs. I don't know what was going on. And she wanted more money. He either didn't have more money or he wasn't going to give her no damn more money. And they got in a spat, you know. Any one of you guys that have been married or with a girlfriend, you know, you're going to have a little spat. And that's that. You know, as long as it don't go hands on, screaming and hollering means absolutely nothing. So somebody calls security. Well, as we're walking away, two big old security boys, young boys, come up behind us, told me, "You want to fight a woman? Won't you try fighting a man? Because here's your man right here. I'm ready to fight." And then blah, 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 blah. You know, they just kept on and on and on and followed us all the way to our car doing that shit. And I turned around right as we got to the car. And as soon as I did, one of the security guards put his hand on his gun. You know, he's a fucking coward. Only a coward would do that. He's telling me to come fight him, but yet when I turn around to go fight him, he wants to put his hand on his gun. And I told him, "Pull that smoke wagon, baby. Let's see how that works for you." And he, you know, anytime you boys want to have a fight with a man, you come on over here. I kept walking towards him and he kept walking away. So this guy's a fucking coward. There's no doubt about that. His partner, I don't know, man. His partner looked, you know, I had to keep watch on him because he looked like the kind that would just pull his gun and shoot someone and say that, you know, it was self-defense. Well, it's been about a couple of years, and I was taking some new medications called Lasix. Lasix, they make you pee. When you notice 5 pounds or more weight gain in a day, you take a Lasix and you'll pee it right out. It's just retained water is all it is. What the best the doctors can figure is I took 2 in a day. And 2 in a day is a killer. My kids told me about, I guess about 8 o'clock, I come running in the living room screaming and hollering, "Look at, there's men coming out of the computer. They're coming out of the computer. They're coming to kill us. They're coming to kill us." And, you know, these kids probably thought I was fucking crazy, which I guess I was. I don't know. But they said I ran over to the window and started screaming, "It's okay. It's okay. Jay's here." Jay is my brother. And I'm screaming, "It's going to be fine. It's going to be fine." And they said I would go out onto the patio and scream and holler at people. Back in the bedroom, screaming and hollering and just talking to people that weren't there, you know. I used to watch movies about people walking through the desert and they become dehydrated. And, you know, they'd see mirages, they'd see water that wasn't there and all that stuff. it never occurred to me that that's what was happening. We get to the hospital. Well, number one, my kids did the number one cardinal sin in my house. They called the police. Okay? You only call the police if it's life and death. So maybe they figured it was. Don't know. Don't care. I asked them, did I give the police any problems? And they said, no, you went with him voluntarily, never said another word. I don't remember the ride to the hospital, but I do remember this. It was only about 8 o'clock at night. I do remember that much. Excuse me. The police take me into Scott and White emergency room where they have 6 drunk security guards, and they're all got a chip on their shoulder. As far as I can tell, I don't remember what happened in that emergency room. I have no earthly idea. But these guys, all of them, every one of them, started beating me with their billy clubs. I have broken ribs on both sides. They beat my hips until my legs wouldn't move. They beat me on my neck. I couldn't move my head for a week. They beat me on the backs of my legs, on the shins. They beat my arms. They hit me everywhere but my balls and my head. Now, we're in a hospital, okay? There's 1,000 things you can do to calm down someone in distress. Mental distress look like, people think they take it as anger, and it's not anger. It's just you don't have the fucking slightest idea what you're doing. Now, I do know for a fact that there is a drug called Halidol. You give a man a shot of Halidol, it takes about 5 minutes, but he is no longer an aggressor at anything. I don't even think the man can keep his head up to the truth. I've seen it done before, and it really works. If they just would have taken the time to do something like that, but no, everybody's a chicken shit. There's 6 men, there's 4 men and 2 women. And if those 4 men and 2 women couldn't get me to the ground long enough for somebody to stick a needle in my arm and make me go goo-goo, cowards, drunken cowards, that's what they were. They beat me with those sticks, and even after I start remembering little things, just little things. I can remember somebody beating on me, and I'm like, man, this can't be right. And all of a sudden, somebody hit me in my back, right back here in my neck. And I said, bullshit, that's not wrong. And whatever he did brought back my full memory. And these guys were wailing away at me. So I grabbed the nearest person to me and just fell to the ground with them and put them in a chokehold. And there was no amount of them beating me gonna make me let go of her. And she started screaming, because I really didn't know at that time. I thought it was a bunch of thugs beating my ass. Never announced themselves as security. They never told me stop, security. And I held her until she started screaming, stop hitting him, stop hitting him. Oh God, please stop hitting him. So I let her up. As soon as they quit hitting me, I let her up. And I stood up and they started pounding away again. And they pounded me out the door. I know one thing, it was 8 o'clock when I got there that night. It was daylight when I left the next day. And these fuckers beat me that whole time. So if you go to Scott and White, Baylor Scott and White, if you see a security guy, beware, especially if you're not in a good mood, because they have the freedom to beat you shitless, and there is nothing on God's green earth you can do about it. I've already checked with my lawyer. I have a civil rights lawyer. He said nothing was done wrong. They're private security, and they answer to Scott and White only. So I hope this story helps y'all. I hope you like, subscribe, and share. And leave a comment, man. I'd like to know how I'm doing. I'm getting a little better. I'm not near as shy as I was. So hopefully I can start telling some really good stories, because I got some real goddamn good stories to tell y'all that you won't fucking believe. So good night and pleasant dreams. And I love all you guys. And I don't have my Dr. Pepper can here, but I wanted to take this time to thank Dr. Pepper and to say, Charlie Kirk, I'm sorry what happened to you happened to you. That's it.